Yeah, you know what? Niggas be stealing people. Niggas be stealing and devils be watching. Let's get into it. Before I get started, we're pouring towards the east. Before I get started, let me give all praise and glory to Yahweh, for Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Hashem Kakadash, Shalom. And here it is, Friday. You know, I have my snack cloth, which represents a state of mourning. You're supposed to be mourning that you disconnected from your power and that your ass is a slave, man. You know, you disconnected from your Howell by Shem Yahweh Shah, man. So you're supposed to be in a mournful state. But Jake, on the other hand, is turning up. You so-called Negro people, Native Americans are in a joyful spirit, man. When you out cheating on your Howell by Shem Yahweh Shah, you know, we was brought over here for a punishment, man. Southern Kingdom. But as a whole, even though the Northern Kingdom left and came over here after the Assyrian captivity, they came over here too and turned this into one big damn party, man. And now we all here together, oppressed, and you think it's having a grand old time. You have a splendid time, man. Not knowing that, hey, you made a covenant with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah that he was going to be your power and your only power. Now look at you today. Out of your damn mind, man. Worshiping any and everything, anything that comes through everybody, every flyby doctrine. And you don't even know your power name. You know? So you should be in a state of mourning, not myrrh. But trying to get that through a bonehead Israelite, it's like I might as well be talking to this car right here. I might as well just be standing and talking to this car, trying to get it through one of y'all, man. You're not going to be able to, stay in a spirit of mirth alone, though, man. Because I was looking today on the video, gas prices sky high in the Midwest. You hear me? Sky high. Like $4.50, $5 a gallon. And it won't be long before it's down here, man. It's already like $3.90 on the causeway. And I'm just talking about regular. I'm just talking about regular unleaded at the moment. But you're gonna be mourning, or you're gonna be crying and you're gonna be mourning. It's not gonna be for your power, though. It's gonna be You know about these gas prices, the cost of utilities going up, and ultimately, Trump is about to kick this war off again with Iran, and you gonna be crying about getting your ass drafted off to this World War III. You know. So seeing that all this is about to hit the fan, should you be in a joyous spirit? Should you be just all willy nilly? Because believe it or not, World War III has already started. Man. This thing has already kicked off. You know, World War III has already begun, and they go into the next phase. You know, I read an article earlier. Read the headline. Trump said, "Hey, either we're gonna blow the hell out of them, or we're gonna make a deal." And there's no deals being made because Iran not even coming to the table, man. So World War III is kicking up a notch. You know, it's all been prophesied in the scriptures too, man. So yeah, it's some beautiful times that we living in. What we looking at? You know, you on your bike, keep riding, man. This ain't a Bourbon Street sideshow up here, man. This is official business. Well, I like to say official business. You know what I'm talking about? You know, I don't need your money up here, man. This ain't no tip jars up here either. You know, I'm gonna get my money later. I'm gonna get paid later. You know, so this is a work now and get paid later type of gig. You know, and you lot of you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, you know, you can't wrap your mind around that. You want to get paid now. That's why you got so many sellouts now in Israel, man. That's a lot of y'all sold out. You know, you want the G wagon. You know, you want the prestige. You want the fame. Ultimately, you just want the money. But I'm here to tell you, man, it's not gonna last long. Because they said the debt. What is it about the debt? Is like 100% over the GDP or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. To put it in layman's terms, the debt is out of control, man. It's spiraling out of control. It's only going to lead to economic collapse. The economy is going to crash, man. But it's like $1 billion, $2 billion a day. They have all those troops over in the Middle East right now. And that's just from that little bit of war going on. Not including all the bases that's all over the fucking planet. This can't go on forever. You know, eventually the music has to stop. And the music's getting slower right now. All right now. You know, eventually the music stops. And when it does, all hell's gonna break loose, man. All hell's gonna break loose right here in America. Food trucks stop running, lights out. Civil war, race wars. You know, all this is gonna happen right here in the good old US of A. So should you be, like I just said a minute ago, should you be in a joy spirit, looking to carry on, and you got that 5 year, 10 year plan? You know, that's a woman love to ask you, what's your 5 year goal? What's your 10 year goal? You know, women love to ask that shit. I ain't got no plans or no goals, man. I'm sticking with this truth. You know, I take it day by day, week by week, man. You know, this is my goal. This is my 5 year, 10 year goal right here. Standing in this truth, preaching this word, man. You know, that's my 401k. Doing this. You know, I hope to be in the kingdom in 5 or 10 years. That's my goal. You know, I'm gonna talk about some real goals. I hope to be in the kingdom with my feet up. You know, ruling over you people, over you heathens, man, with 2 iron fists. You know, that's what I want to do. You know, and blowing your daughter back out, man. You know, blowing her back and her front out. You know, every day, except on the Sabbath. You know, what they say, every day and twice on Sunday. You know, but it depends on how the Sabbath fall. You know, on how that goes. But until then, it's balls to the wall. You know, balls to the wall. Let's get some precepts so I can get out of here. Let's get some precepts. I know I've been rambling. Let me get some scriptures. Hey, like I said, man, I'd rather be in the kingdom in 5 years, giving giving your daughters hell, man, cracking plenty of headboards, plenty of them. It's gonna be an assembly line, man. They can be making so many headboards in the kingdom. Beds, if you understand what I'm saying. You know, making up for lost time, man. Breaking it down to the flow, you heard? Let's go to Proverbs 3 and 5. It says, trust in Yahweh with all thy heart, be in your minds, and lean not until thine own understanding. Verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. So yeah, Jake, you ought to be trusting in Yahweh by Shimon Shah to direct your paths, man, and lean not to your own understanding. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, you know, or reading, you know, because one of the drawbacks is that you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans always got your emotions involved. You can't read this Bible being emotional. You know, this ain't no happy-go-lucky book, man. There's some good and some bad in it. You know, it's like I said, it's some honey and the bitter in this book. And you get caught up in the honey, and then when somebody tell you some shit about the bitterness, you know, you lose it. You know, you lose it. Hey, it's grape is in the Bible, man. People don't want to, talk about it, but they talk about women getting grapes in the Bible, man, and how to handle that. You know, a lot of y'all got y'all panties in a bunch when that came out. You know, there's sex in the Bible, man. You know, you got men of the Lord that was sleeping with prostitutes. You know, they were banging hookers, but they don't preach that in the church. You know, so y'all got bent all out of shape when that came out. I believe it was a Hosea, if I remember right. Hey, he married a hooker, man. You know, he was banging her and he ended up marrying her, pretty much. You know, but America's turned everybody into fucking bitches, man. The men have like and gotten weak. You know, these women have turned the men into fucking soy boys, man. You know, everybody on that Queen of Heaven spirit. It's all about the woman. Well, the Bible is all, hey, it's all about the man, and that's what I'm sticking with. You know, I'm going with the scriptures. In the Bible, the man runs the show. You know, and they got bent out of shape about that. You know, my woman don't run me, man. That's for sure. Like I say, I practice what I preach. Now, do you negotiate? Do you got a politic? Yeah. Hey, because hey, she could pick up that phone any time and call 911. You know, and you still under captivity, man. So you got to weigh it up. But she don't run me, man. Like who is it? DJ Paul said, man, I got the dick, so I make the rules, man. That's how that's gonna go. Hey, these rap niggas got a few gems of knowledge. If you listen to them, they ain't got many, but they got a few nuggets here and there. It says in all verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Yeah, he shall direct your paths, man. You know, I can get Jeremiah 10 and 23 for that one. You know, you can read that for yourself. Proverbs 20:24. Man's goings are the Lord's. So the Most High is gonna direct your steps where you need to be, man. And just like he directs your steps to, to get your ass either delivered or judged, or he can direct your steps and have you out here on the highways and the byways like me, man, bringing his word out somewhere. Verse 7, be not wise in thy own eyes, fear Yahweh and depart from evil. Easy, man. It's just easy, man. It can't get no simpler than that. Verse 7, let's read Proverbs 3 and 7 again. Be not wise in thy own eyes, fear Yahweh and depart from evil. I could close it out with that one. I can pack it up and go home. You know, but Jake, hey, they don't fear the Most High no more, man. They fear Pookie and Ray Ray. You tell a nigga that the Lord gonna kill him. You know, You know, he'll pay that no mind. You know, he'll get in your face, spit, you know, cut up a little bit. But you tell him Jerome looking for him, he'll turn fucking white, man. He'll turn pale, like a ghost. I tell them YNs out looking for him. You know, or you get with Amigo, and he say, hey, man, ICE looking for you. You know, they fucking take off. You know, they'll jump over a 7-foot wall, man, trying to get away from ICE. But you say, hey, if you don't turn from your wicked ways and depart from evil, you know, they'll look at me like I got 3 heads, man. And probably try to kill me on spot. You know, kill me right on sight, man. That's okay. You're gonna learn to fear the Lord real soon. You know, he's about to remind you, you know, he really like that. He about to remind you who the hell he really is, man. And he the true power in the earth. You know? You know, like I got people, man, they fear the so-called white man and they fear their own people. You know, or you tell the Latin tribes, the cartel looking for him. You know, he'll jump in his Chevy truck and, and fucking run 3, 4, 5, 6 stop signs trying to get away. But you say, hey man, the Lord gonna kill you. You're gonna say, oh no, the Lord's not like that, man. The Lord's love everybody. You know? You know, not my Jesus. My Jesus love everybody. My Jesus got nothing but love. Just out of their damn minds, man. Out of their damn minds. It says, and depart from evil. That ain't gonna happen. It's already been accounted that 2/3 of the nation of Israel is not gonna repent. Here in America, the 2/3 are not gonna repent. You know, they're gonna immerse themselves. Matter of fact, they're gonna double down in evil, man. You know, Jake's so wicked. I've lost track of their wickedness, man. It then went supernova. I don't know what's the latest wickedness they into. You know, I try not to, follow Jake too much, man, because it's constantly changing. You know, I did see this one crazy Jake on this one YouTube video, some news, I believe in I forget what part of Mississippi. But somehow he flipped out, man, and chopped his mama up in pieces. You know, chopped up in pieces, but she told him to move out, and the cops caught him. He was flushing pieces of flesh down the toilet, man. This was like this week sometime, man. So you know that nigga was in all kind of wickedness, man. You do that to your own mama? Damn. I know they had a movie, Throw Mama from the Train, but this nigga chopping his mama up in pieces, man, and flushing her down the toilet. And then they say, oh, you missing things out here in the world. You crazy. You couldn't pay me to hang with these niggas, man. You cannot pay me to hang with these niggas, man. You don't know what's on their mind, man. One thing for sure, you know wickedness is on the menu. You know, it was dang, it slipped my mind just that quick. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I had a long time friend in the world, man. The spirit been moving on me to let him loose. You know, because ultimately he just a damn dirtbag at the end of the day, man. You know, I'm talking about a long time friend. But hey, we two different spirits, man. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, he just a wicked nigga, man. And I had to let him go. You know, at the end of the day, he just a scumbag. And light and darkness is always gonna disagree, man. And he immersed in thick darkness. I almost said thick clay, you know, but thick darkness, man. And you know why continue to put myself through that? You know, let's just split our ways, and maybe we'll see each other in the kingdom, man. Right now, it's all about me staying forward, man. I'm staying focused on this truth, you know. So I don't give a damn. We've been knowing each other 20, 25 years, man. When it comes to between me and this truth, you don't stand a chance, man. I'm gonna set you free every time, you know. I told my woman, she was like, "Oh, you got to choose between me and that." Well, I'm choosing this, you know. And it's just that simple. And you see her ass still at the house, man. She's still at the house. No, so you're not gonna stand in front of me with this truth. I ain't saying that's all I got. No, that's all I got. You know, that's why a lot of Jakes don't get involved in this truth, man. It requires a lot. You know, the most high, the Albashim Shah requires loyalty, man. You know, once you make a vow to do this, you gotta stick with it. You know, the days you want to and the days you don't want to do it. You know, because there's highs and lows in this truth. You know, there's gonna be times you feel like the spirit on you, and there's gonna be times you feel like the spirit ain't working with you. But you keep pushing through it though, man. You keep pushing. You know, you gotta get on your post, whether you want to or not. And hey, like I said, like it says in Ecclesiastes 5 about making that vow, most I say it's just that you're not even vowed to even do it, man. Make a vow. So I'm gonna stick to the contract, man. Because if you don't, that's your ass. I'm gonna uphold the contract, you know. I'm gonna stay doing this, Lord willing. Verse 8, it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. So yeah, this truth will be health to you, man. You know, it'll awaken you out of that dead state that you're in. Because without it, you dead. You know, you just a dead man walking. Verse 9, honor Yahweh with thy substance, with thy first fruits of all thy increase. Why ain't this pulling up? Hold on. Go to settings. I forgot to connect it to the hotspots. What's going on? That's I need a reliable internet connection. Get some bull. Yeah, I'm so tired of this junk technology. Verse 8, it's Proverbs 3 and 8 again. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Verse 9, honor Yahweh with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thy increase. So yeah, you're supposed to give the most high his off the top. As soon as I get paid, man, I get his right off the top. You know, I give him his right off the top, man. Even though the fucking taxes, the tax man got his fucking hands in my shit before I can even do it. That's sorry piece of shit, Uncle Sam. You know, but so I give before I pay anything, man. Lend anything out, pay a bill, I get a most high his. That fucking low life scumbag Uncle Sam, man. Fucking text me. I ain't get me started on that. You know how I feel about that. You know. So yeah, I get a Lord his first, man. That's how it works. So I give him whatever first fruits I got. Man. Verse 10, so thy barn be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. So the most will increase whatever you got, man. You know, get 10%, 12, 15, whatever. You know. Whatever I make, man. I get the most a piece of it, man. You know, I give him his off the top. Verse 11, my son, despise not the chastening of Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction. So yeah, you're not supposed to despise, supposed not despise the Most High, man. Be putting your ass through hell, you know. He'll put you through hell, man. Bring you to a lower state, but you don't supposed to be like, oh God, why you doing this to me? Why you didn't pick somebody else? It could have been in it. Cause sometimes like, man, why you choose that nigga down the street? You know? He definitely deserves it. You know? But hey, you get your mind back right. You're like, okay, most chastening who he loves, so you gotta write it out, man. But I be thinking of numerous people could be getting this problem that I got. You know, I'm like, Lord, this nigga eat pork all day long, fucking adulterer, a scumbag. But hey, the Lord said, hey man, I'm dealing with you, so I'm gonna chastise you. So hey, I gotta take it with the punches, man. Mhm. I just gotta suck it up and go with it. Verse 11, my son, despise not the chastening of Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction. So yeah, the Lord's gonna correct your ass, even though you doing this or you ain't doing it. But definitely, you inside this tree, you're gonna be corrected. The Lord's gonna put you through some shit. He wanna see what you made of. He wanna see if you're just gonna give up. Oh Lord, I can't do this no more. I'm supposed to be your servant, and I'm still catching the blues, still getting sick, or getting some kind of ailment, some type of sickness. But it's all a test, though, man. It's all a test. I come out here plenty of days, not feeling well. You know, it was this one time, but last year sometime it was like 3 months. I was like fucked up straight. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to break down and go to the doctor, which I refuse to do. You know, but hey, I kept praying, kept coming out here, kept doing the videos, and lo and behold, the Most High came through and healed me, man. Lo and behold. Mhm. Verse 13, happy is the man that findeth wisdom and the man that getteth understanding. So happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding, which is his truth, man. Not not you knowing about all the stats of the saints. Man. That ain't wisdom, you know. You know all the lyrics of your favorite artist, man. That's definitely not wisdom, you know. So what it's talking about here is you getting the knowledge and the understanding of this damn Bible, man. It's the ultimate wisdom of the planet, you know. It's the top tier wisdom it is. Verse 14. Matter of fact, it's gonna get into it how you should have the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures, man. And that nothing could be compared to it. Verse 14. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. So this truth is more precious than gold and silver, man. Verse 15. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. So yeah, if you got this truth, man, you got it all, man. You got the complete knowledge. What's wrong with this dude? You got the complete knowledge, man. You got the total package. And said, can't nothing be compared to this, man. No silver, no gold, no rubies, no diamonds, nothing, man. And especially no fiat currency. These FRN notes. Oh boy, I'm gonna turn this way. Fuck the wrong with people, man. Like everybody else gay shit. It just irks me. Verse 16, length of days is in her right hand, and her left hand, riches and honor. So yeah, you're gonna have any and everything you desire, man. When you got this truth. Will you have it on this side? Maybe, maybe not. But you definitely gonna have it in the kingdom, man. You know, like I said earlier, you know, I'm thinking about ruling people, man. I'm not thinking about get me a business, have me some workers. Cause guess what? They got rights. You know, they can go call the police on your ass. They can report you to the labor board. You know, you got to treat those employees a certain type of way, you know, to stay out of trouble. But in the kingdom, I can treat you how I want to, man, within the law of the scriptures. You know, if I don't work you from sun up to sundown or from dark to dark, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, and guess what? You ain't getting paid either. You know, it's all on the house, man. All on you. You know, I don't have to give you a break in the kingdom, man. You know, I can just work you till you drop and get another one, man. Give me another slave. You know, so I'm setting my affection on things above. You know, and you won't be able to call up the labor board, the UN. You know, you won't be able to get you an attorney, man, and try to sue. You know, you have to deal with me. And oh Lord, I ain't gonna be nice either. You know, I'm not gonna be nice, man. I might be fair, but I ain't gonna be nice. So in the left hand is riches and honor. So it's gonna be beautiful, man, in the kingdom of heaven. I have any and everything I desire, and not just me, man. Everybody on this chart, man. Have any and everything we desire. You know, no a need for nothing, man, or a want for anything, man. It's gonna be beautiful, man. But on this side, and plus, if you get a lot of riches and honor on this side, man, it'll turn you away from the Most High, man. There was this guy, you know, he wanted money. He was in the truth. He was a so-called teacher, preacher. I say so-called because he loved it. But the Lord had a way where he hit the lottery, man, and he won. I forgot how much money he won, but it was in the mills. And he said, "The hell with preaching, man." You know, he said he got his kingdom now. You know, and he took off, and he ain't never picked up the Bible since, man. So you got to be careful about when to get rich and giving this truth, because hey, you be out here on the block like me, And tomorrow you could be in fucking Colombia, man. You know, getting down. You know what I'm talking about. You could be in Medellin, you know, getting bucket naked. So you gotta ask the Lord, man. Just keep you in the middle. Don't make you too poor and don't make you too rich, man. Just keep you in the middle, you know, so you can stay grounded. Cause you get too much money, you might fucking lose it. Now there were rich men in the scriptures, but hey, the Lord knows what you need, man. He know what you can handle, and I'm gonna leave it up to him, man. I got a few investments, you know. Maybe they pan out, maybe they won't, but I ain't really sweating that. I ain't really sweating. You know, if it makes me a few dollars, you know, I'm good. If you don't, still all good, you know. But I ain't banking on it though. And that's another misconception. Everybody, oh, you out there on the highway, you broke, you ain't got no money. You know, I don't know where you get that idea from. I don't know who told you that. You know, I ain't saying I got buku dollars, but hell, you good, you good, yeah, yeah. It won't get your face and nothing like that. It get the back of your head though, you know. Sorry. Oh, that ain't mine. Yeah, you know, I ain't asking for money up here, man. You know, I ain't panhandling. Let's get that straight. I don't need your money, man. And does the Most High bless me? Throws me extra here and there. Yeah, and He uses people to do it. But you ain't gonna find no collection plate out here. Believe that. You ain't gonna find no complexion plate. Collection plate or a sign up here talking about anything else. It ain't that type of party up here. Verse 17, her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Yeah. The reason why it's starting to say her, because wisdom, is pretty much a represent well, put it like this, Sophia, which represents wisdom, she's likened to a woman, man. Wisdom is likened to a woman. So you gotta treat the woman right, man. You gotta be a little gentle with the woman, and you stop giving the woman attention, guess what? She's gonna take off on you, man. Same way with this too. You can't ever say you learn everything. You still got to still be reading, still listening to lessons, doing lessons. Or she's like, hey, you gonna move on to somebody else, man. So you still have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Intrigued, I guess. You still got to be, you still got to have a love for wisdom, man. One that keep learning. It says, Verse 17, her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Yeah, because once you get into this, it teaches you how to deal with people. And plus, you know, the scriptures say you got to be peaceful or peaceable to all men. You know, you don't go out be like a damn lion, fussing and cussing at everybody all the time. Uh, even though it's like that sometimes, but for the most part, you be peaceful as much. It says be harmless, but it say wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, man. That don't mean you let somebody come up here and kick your ass though, man. And put hands on you. Even the scripture say you gotta be peaceable unto all men. So people walk by, heathens walk by, speak, hello. Nothing wrong with speaking, being cordial, because you commanded to do that. This truth teaches you to pretty much how to will and deal, man. When you first get it, you like wide open, you cussing out any and everybody, man. But once you get seasoned in this, you know, when wisdom start to deal with you, and you know how to handle the situation better. You know, I don't have to cuss you out to get my point across. You know, I don't have to, talk to you like a dog just to view the points. You know, but hey, some people like it like that, so it just depends on the person, the spirit of the person. Verse 18, she is the tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is every one that retaineth her. So yeah, overall, you're happy, man. Because you're like, damn, the Lord could have got anybody else to do this, but He got me. Man. He brought the truth to me. He chose me. I didn't choose Him. No, the Lord chose me, man, to do this. It was a Jeremiah. So Jeremiah, you didn't choose me, but I chose you. Because hey, I had all kind of plans, man. I had all kind of bright ideas. Besides doing this, but hey, the Most High had other plans, man. So you got to write it out. Like I said, it's gonna be worth the wait, man. It's gonna be worth the wait. Let's read that again, man. Proverbs 3 and 18. Man, I ain't even out of Proverbs, and I'm already almost at an hour already, man. Still got a bunch of precepts left. Proverbs 3 and 18, she is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her. Yeah, because once you get this life, this truth, this knowledge, this spirit gets in you, man, you come alive, man. You're no longer in that valley of dry bones. You know? Verse 19, Yahweh by wisdom have founded the earth. By understanding he have established the heavens. Verse 20, By his knowledge, the depths are broken up and the clouds drop down the dew. Verse 21, my son, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So keep sound wisdom, not this foolery, that everybody be trying to give you their own type of wisdom, but not according to the scriptures though, man. Everybody got 1,001 ways to get you to the kingdom. Well, they don't say the kingdom, but get you to heaven. But none of it comes out of the Bible though. They got all these different avenues for you to take, but they all lead to a dead end though. You know? So it says, keep sound wisdom and discretion, man. You say, let it go, think about it. Once you get this, man, you keep it and you hang on to it, man, for dear life. Because I've seen people that left, yeah, they might well be in a psychiatric ward, man. They might well be in a padded room with a straitjacket, man. Hell, shit, the Lord killed some of them, man. It's some that he really took to offense, and he killed some of them. There was this one guy called used to be in this troop, man, and called Seattle Snake. You know, he'll go and just, you had a girlfriend or wife, he was gonna sleep with her, man. So the Lord got tired of that shit, man, and had it some way his ass got thrown off a building. you know, Somehow he stumbled and fell off. It was like 6 floors, man. I said, damn. Yeah, another guy in San Francisco, same shit, but he wasn't sleeping with women. He was in this truth. I guess he got caught wind of seducing spirits and a different doctrine, if I remember right. He stopped going out on the highways and byways, and somehow he got bugged out. Well, I just told you in Proverbs 20:24 how the Lord directs your steps. But he ended up on the freeway in the middle of like 2, 3 in the morning, walking across the freeway out there in San Francisco, and a damn car fucking ran his ass over, man. Matter of fact, it was 2 cars that hit him. So you got to hang on to this for dear life, because the Lord, He gonna do your ass in, man. You turn your back on Him. So that's why, hey, we prisoners of hope, man. I'm a prisoner of hope, because you don't know if He gonna kill you or have you losing your damn mind, man. One thing for sure, He gonna fuck you up, man, some kind of way. Oh yeah, like this crazy guy that I knew personally. He was hey, we were side by side, man, shoulder to shoulder. Now he fucking crazes all out fucking doors, man. Last I saw him on the news, He was in fucking Baton Rouge somewhere, fucking spray paint on side somebody church. Man, I forgot exactly what it was, but it is. He talking about he the Lord, he Jesus. I said, what? Where you even get that name from? But now he calling himself Jesus and all this kind of stuff, smoking cigarettes. So hey, man, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Most High. You know, I seen. Matter of fact, I know of another. And this was a guy. He was an elder. You know, in the truth, somebody you look up to. And he the same way, man. Bugged out of his mind. You know, a complete nut job. So that's why the scripture say, man, you got to keep wisdom. And like I bring up that Ecclesiastes 5 again. You don't want to keep this vow, you're going to get messed over, man. What the scripture say, give me any plague but plague of the mind. Roughly paraphrasing. But they got a plague of the mind, man. And that's the worst thing to have. You know, I knew that nigga was crazy though, man. The one that was in Baton Rouge. It's like 80 degrees, 90 degrees outside. He got a hoodie on, man. Right then, some told me this isn't the game, right? But you know, but we try to you give him the benefit of the doubt. He a man of the Lord. At least he was at that time. But I'm like, something ain't right. He's talking about it's like a security blanket. I was like, that don't sound right. You know, you don't have discernment in this truth. The spirit gonna work with you. I'm like, that don't sound right. And then he was like, he was obsessed with this precept, the meat of my meat, something like the will of my meat, something like that. About pretty much it's saying, doing the Lord's will or doing the work, but it goes something about my meat of doing the will. I forget. It's been a while since I've been over that scripture a little bit. But he used to always bring it out. I'm like, that don't sound right either. Like, why he always bringing that precept up? And fast forward now, this man calling himself Jesus, man. He said he the Lord. So hey, that's what happened, man. If you walk away from this truth and you turn your back on the Lord and you say you don't want to do this no more, either he gonna kill you or you gonna be a damn lunatic, man. A walking lunatic. Huh? And the hell with that. I'm just gonna stay right here. I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna ride it out right here, doing this, man. I really have somebody making fun of me that me being fucking bugged out of my mind, walking around talking to myself and shit. I'd rather do that and do this than got all these fucking demons on you talking to you, man. Like a lot of these guys that I done saw that came and went. You know, I'd rather do this. You know what I'm saying? Verse 22, so shall they be life unto thy soul and grace to thy neck. I think I'm gonna put that on 23. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. Now let's keep on going. Verse 24. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yeah, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Yeah, because when I go to sleep at night, right before I go to sleep, man, I ain't worrying about nothing, man. You know, I'm not to worry about nobody. Nobody looking for me. Nobody looking for me. You know, whatever I can do today, I do today. And I'll think about tomorrow, man. You know? And my wife get on my nerve with that shit, man. Y'all, we want to fucking open bills up at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Fuck, I want to look at a bill at 10 o'clock at night for me. What can I do about it right now? Let's worry about that tomorrow, you know? We'll pay that shit tomorrow. Right now, we going to sleep. You know? You know? And I ain't ducking nobody either. That's one thing, man, that's true. I ain't ducking nobody at all. Verse 25, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither the desolation of the wicked when it comes to wall. So yeah, be not afraid, man. It is what it is, man. You know, it is what it is. Think of somebody saying, "Oh, you might get killed." You mean I ain't got to pay bills no more? You mean I ain't got to go to work no more? Yeah, you can go anywhere and fucking get killed, man. Now, do you tempt the Lord and you just, I mean, you don't walk in the middle of a damn gunfight, you know? You know, but you got to know how to, once you get into this truth and wisdom start dealing with you, man, you know, you start learning, you know, you start learning things, man. You got to know how to will and deal pretty much. You know, wisdom will say, hey, go this way, you know, or go that way, man. It's, you know, once you get into this, man, a lot of weird things happen to you, man. I'm just gonna put it like that. A lot of a lot of weird things start happening to you, man. You know, so you gotta have wisdom in order to navigate through it, man. If not, you can just crash out and you be right in jail too, man. You gotta remember, man, Satan is working just like you working, Satan working too. You know, you looking to sift as many you possibly can, man. So you got to keep wisdom and discretion, and most importantly, fear the Most High, man. And I'm gonna close it out with that. Before I get out of here, man, I'm gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash, Shalom.